Okay, so let's talk. All right, so um, I wanted to talk about a couple things. One is about the death penalty. My niece today asked me to help her think of a subject that's controversial about writing for a paper for her English class in college. And by me being a writer and always interested in a lot of different things, I thought about the death penalty and the controversy over the death penalty, whether people agree with it or don't agree with it. It is a big controversy. I myself personally agree with it if the person's DNA, especially now since DNA can be established, of a person who relentlessly executes people, children, um, rape children, um, things like that. And the DNA proves that there's a proven fact that that person committed the crime. If there's doubt, then I feel that life sentence with no parole ever is appropriate because it takes one less nut off the street and makes the streets just a little bit safer. I wanted to talk about Lena Baker. My friend Tachina Arnold, she played Lena Baker. If you get a chance to watch it, it may be on Netflix or Hulu, or you'd be able to find it on one of the shows where you can, pay for the cable networks that have them. But Lena Baker was the first black woman to be executed in the state of Georgia in 1945 for killing her employer. Her employer was a white man who raped her continuously. He actually kidnapped her and kept her hidden from her family and friends. She escaped a couple times. He was able to get her back. She complained to the police and to everybody that will listen, and she got nowhere because he was a white man in 1945 in Georgia. She was merely his maid, and the last time that he continuously raped and kidnapped her, she killed him. And because of that, she had an all-white jury, and she was executed. The next young person was George Steiny. George Steiny was a 14-year-old little black boy in South Carolina who was the first to be executed as a child. I think he's the only person that's ever been executed as a child. Black boy. He was executed in 1944 for the killing of two little white girls, which it was proven later, 70 years later, that he did not do it. So it was just proven. The state of South Carolina was in touch with his family members that are all old now themselves, and they exonerated George Steiny posthumously. So he's dead, executed, but his name will not go down in history as the first child to be executed that was found guilty. Again, he had an all-white jury. So it's a really touchy thing, but I personally feel that it should be in place, again, for those where it can be proven through some type of DNA, because DNA doesn't lie, that that person actually committed the crime. And then they should be taken off the face of the earth. Because what cracks me up? Like last week, there was a guy who was executed and here in Florida. And he had murdered some people, and it was proven that he had murdered the people. And then he's crying on the way to the electric chair or the gas chamber or where they get the injection. He's crying on his way to his execution, but never thinking about what kills me about murderers. They murder people, and then when they get caught, and then when they have to be tried or convicted or executed regarding what they did, then they want to cry about the situation and plead innocent, and no, it was self-defense, all this stuff. They had no sense of caring about the person they were killing. That person was losing their life, and they cared nothing about it. So why should we care about your life? That's the part that gets me. That they bitch up is when they get caught, or when they're sentenced to die. So it's a tricky situation, especially when it comes to black folks, because so many of us have been convicted for crimes that we did not commit. That's what was one of the biggest things with us in our community when OJ was found innocent. OJ was basically the first black man we knew that actually got away with something, if he got away with it. If he did not kill Nicole, he won. If he did kill Nicole, he won. And it was the first time we saw that a black man with this kind of money, this kind of power, was able to hire 7 attorneys, and if it don't fit, you must acquit. So it was a celebration for black people around the world. I was on 116th Street when he was found innocent in New York and Lenox Avenue, and I mean, horns were blowing, bus driver horns were blowing, cab horns were blowing. We were all shouting in the street. There's an African market right there on that corner then. The Africans were rejoicing together. All the African Americans, the Africans, the West Indians, the Jamaicans, the Puerto Ricans, we were all jumping up and down with joy. I worked at Columbia University at the time. When I went to work, all the white people were furious. Were absolutely furious. So it was a complete divide between black and white. And white people had been getting away with murder all this time, including Emmett Till. And so it was a victory for black people, for the deaths of our slaves, for the deaths of our ancestors, and for the deaths of Emmett Till, especially, George Steiny, especially, Lena Baker, especially. So it was a victory for our ancestors, our people, to have finally won something, whether right or wrong. I want to tell everybody that in Detroit, there's been a lot of things going on. That's my home, my birthplace, and I just wish and hope that we as black people can get ourselves together. There's a lot of murders still continuing in the city of Detroit, and it's a very sad situation. Also in St. Louis, I mean, in all the ghettos. St. Louis has actually topped now Detroit, but Detroit is ahead in murder per capita, and per people in the amount of space. But St. Louis is now at the top of the list for a murder rate, and that's us killing one another. So you don't even have to wait to be executed, because we're executing ourselves, and it's a time that we really need to wake up. October 10th, my birthday, that's the day that they're having the Million Man March. Minister Louis Farrakhan is having that, so all you men who can get together, all you men, boys, children, take them all with you. Take your uncles, your cousins, go to the Million Man March. I went to the Million Woman March years ago. Actually, I had my own bus service where I actually took people on my buses to the Million Woman March. It was beautiful. Jada Pinkett actually spoke there. Jada Pinkett, Will Smith's wife. She actually spoke back then, back in the day. That was maybe about 10, 15 years ago. And it was a beautiful thing, though, because it was so empowering. So if you guys, the men, can gather all your friends and family members, all the males, please try and go. It's a beautiful, positive, learning experience. Whether you believe in everything that Minister Farrakhan says, he does preach togetherness, for us to stay together, stick together, spin together. So he's just pro-black, and that's nothing wrong with being pro-black. All right, you guys, I also wanted to know if you saw that Amber Rose had a slut walk. Slut walk is for women who have been called sluts or degraded their whole life, or their adult life, maybe because they were strippers or they were with a lot of different men. So Amber Rose, you know, she used to go with Kanye West, and she went with, was married to Wiz Khalifa, and Kanye had mentioned that he had to take 30 showers before he could even sleep with Kim Kardashian. That's how dirty Amber Rose was. Well, Amber Rose spoke at the Slut Walk. She had a big turnout, and and she cried and said that she forgives Kanye West for what he said about her. But you know, it's important that, you know, women, it's a different standard. We're held to a different standard. A woman cannot do the same thing that a man can do and not be considered a slut. That's just how society is. There's nothing you can do about it. If you sit at the bar every single night and you're a woman, you're a slut. If you're a man that sits at the bar every single night, you're just being a man. That's just how society has it set up. But morals should still be inside of you. You should still, as a woman, as the bearer and the mother of the earth, you should carry yourself in high regards, in high standards, and have some pride about yourself. If you want to be a slut in the bedroom with your man or your husband, totally different, but not with every man, okay? And the same with you men. Men can be whores too, but you're still held in a different category. 50 Cent is having a beef, so kind of like a little small beef with the people from Empire, because you know he has his program Power, and Empire has, you know, their big ratings, and he was kind of slighted for the Emmys. I don't think they even nominated his program Power, which is really, really good, and I really like 50 Cent. I respect his hustle. I respect how he reinvented himself. I do kind of, well, 50 also said that he believes the ratings went down this